Right then, let's get mixing this track. First of all though, I'll stop with the green tea and I'm on the shandy. So, first things first, we need to try and do some further EQ work just to make sure everything's sat in its own area so we don't overload. So, this, I'm just going to go through each of my buses, meep, and listen to what they sound like. Straight from the drop, I'm not going to bother with anything else, it's the drop I care about, everything else will work just fine. So I'm going to come straight in at the second drop here. Let's go. Well, to be honest, there's a lot going on up here which is sucking the life out of the rest of it, so what I might do, let's put a little shelf in here just to knock some of it down. Give the rest of the track some breathing room. Nothing major. We've still got the click coming through for the kick, so that's all good. It's probably not as prominent actually. Let's have another listen. No, it's pretty good click actually. Right, so let's go down to the bass. See, this is good. I'm happy with this. It's just encroaching into here a little bit, so I may just take a little notch out here just because this is where the kick is sitting. So I may just take a notch out of here. And of course the higher end of the bass is round here, so that's covering that end. I'll take a notch out, see what that's like. I think that'll probably be right. Again, I'm going to do this without listening to the actual track. I'm just going to go through and do it by ear, and then by the time the track's playing again, I'm going to go down through each of them and look at the kick versus the bass versus the lead, and just see which ones are getting in the way of each other and then move things around. This is the rise and falls and stuff. I'm not really going to bother about that just yet. I will probably mute them and see what's going on with them later. This is the overall everything bus, so let's see what that's doing. To be fair, that looks pretty healthy, not going to lie. I think the main issues we have is with the bass and finding some space for that, because there is still some bits and pieces in there. So this is the bass high, which doesn't have an EQ on it, so I'm just going to chuck one on just to see what it's doing. Fab filter. The amount of EQs I put on things is no wonder my projects run. Yeah, see, this is a bit much here. We've already got that filled, so I'm going to drop that off, to be honest. This is the space we want. That's quite good there. That's good. I like that. To be fair, we probably could take that away a little bit more, if I'm honest. Make a bit more space for the actual bass that sits in here. So I'm happy with that. Then we've got the vocals.
'Cause we're too far apart. 'Cause we're too far apart. I can tell you all you wanna know. 'Cause this is all I got.
I feel like this is alright, but I feel like this needs to be higher, which means this needs to be lower, if that makes sense. So could have put one of those things in it, but never mind, that's fine.
'Cause we're too far apart.
That feels a little bit lighter now. I'm happier with that. The lead. I brought the volume down a bit because it was a bit overpowering. And let's see what it looks like on here. Again, we got a lot around here that we probably don't need. So maybe due to the fact that I put other processing on it as well. Should be a bit cleaner. I might have overdone that one slightly, but that's fine. The effects wise, I am going to look at it and just see what it's doing, just to make sure everything's out of the way. Yeah, it's a lot here. Look. That's from the white noise. There's no need for any of that really. That's all looking pretty good. Now we got the ear candy. This one's a worry because I'm not sure if I did anything on here, so I'm already getting that ready. It's not actually too bad, to be fair. It's cutting into here. I don't really need anything from here onwards, to be fair. That's pretty good. And then we've got the perks. Let's see what we've got going on here. This is actually quite a nice channel to listen to on its own. No, and you hear some people say, "Oh, it's over it's only +3." Oh, it's over +3. They get all excited. They go, "Oh, you shouldn't do that when you're mixing a track. Oh, it should be done beforehand." I don't care. If it works, it works. And to be fair, some things when it comes to mixing, I am pretty good at. I'm happily say that. Some things I'm still learning, but providing I can get it sounding nice on my studio headphones, which are the Audio Technica X50s, whatever they are. Then I try it on my AirPods. Then I play it on my HomePod, which is terrible because it's just harsh mid-range anyway. So, but it does help me. I still know the sound. I've learnt them all, and of course I play them on my 2,000 watt PA speakers that are sat in my room. I have no studio monitors anymore, so that's a bit of an arse. But once I've listened to all of those, I know it works on the AirPods. I know it works on the studio headphones and good headphones. I know it'll work on the HomePod, regardless of the fact that the HomePods aren't that great sound. And I know it works on a big system, so I know it's going to play okay in the clubs. That's how, if it does all those, I'm happy. And as long as I can get at least -8 LUFS, I'm happy. So with that said, I've done all that EQ. I'm just going to have a quick listen from halfway through the build up into the drop, I think. See what we're sounding like, and then I'm going to have a look at the mix bus.
I can tell you all you wanna know, 'cause this is all I got. I can tell you everything and more, 'cause we're too far apart. I can tell you, I can tell you, I can tell you, I can tell you, I can tell you all you wanna know, 'cause this is all I got. We're too far apart. We're too far apart.
Okay, so it's sounding good, but it is sounding a lot quieter overall in the drop compared to...
I can tell you all you wanna know, 'cause this is all I got.
And the reason for that is the snare, I think. Yeah, that snare's a bit OTT, so I think it's in here. Got the clap and the snare here, so I'm going to just group them as well, just so I can, just so it makes it easier for me. And I'm just going to reduce the volume overall. Hopefully that doesn't affect the drop too much, but we'll find out.
I can tell you all you wanna know, 'cause this is all I got. We're too far.
That vocal seems ultra loud now. So I'm just going to bring that down a touch because the vocal seems a bit nuts.
I can tell you all you wanna know, 'cause this is all I
Right, that sounds a bit better. I'm just going to play it through with a bit more context. Okay, that's pretty good. I think there is one other thing that's annoying me slightly, and that's in here. I feel like one of these is a bit too loud. It's probably that, if I'm honest. Oh, hold on. This is... might be it. Yeah, it's not hitting as hard as I wanted it to be honest. It's probably because there's no silence. I mean, when we look at... it's this one somewhere. It's this one, I think. You listen to this one, we have a gap, and it does hit a bit harder, I think. So I might have to change it, I don't know. Yeah, see, that one does hit harder. because it's got that stutter. But then the build-up isn't really a huge, exciting build-up either. It's taking you there. It's got the right direction, and it's going in. But it's not. I haven't gone for like a crazy. This is definitely the fucking build-up, and boom with the drop. You know, it's more of a gradual build-up into it, and then you get the energy back, and it's slightly different. So it's not a club banger. So I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm going to leave it. I'm quite happy with it. It's just not the explosion that you normally get from. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Keep telling myself that. It's fine. No, I'm good. I'm good. So next thing, we've got the EQ here. I just want to have a look at this and see what we're looking at and have a listen while I can see it. Again, I want it on the drop. It's actually looking pretty good. So let's have a look and see what we're looking like here before I do anything. Again, I'm gonna check the loss on the drop only. There's no point having a look at the breakdowns and stuff because they are going to be a lot lower. And I'll always do it on the second drop anyway because there's normally more stuff in the second drop. So let's see what it looks like. So once I made some changes and I amended some volumes and stuff, you can see we have minus 17 at the moment, which has given me quite a lot of headroom. To be honest, I don't like that much headroom. I'm quite happy if it's sitting around minus 10, which isn't the industry way of doing it, but I prefer 10. A lot of people say, oh yeah, minus 16, yeah, brilliant, minus 16 to 18, yeah, lovely. Oh, and then you get someone say, oh yeah, I like minus 24, so you can barely fucking hear it before you start doing anything. But yeah, minus 17 is what we got to work with. This will be a laugh. One thing I can see which is bugging me a little bit, so if we go into here, the other thing that's bugging me is my seat. I've got the most uncomfortable seat in the world. I want this and this, so I'm just going to take this just to separate a little bit, just to put it each side just a tiny bit. And I'm going to do the same with this as well. got a bit more movement in this area. The high frequencies, I've got quite a lot of movement already, and it's fast movement, so I'm happy with that. So the next thing then, I want to go for one of these. To be honest, I'm not going to do full mixing on here. I'm just going to show you what I usually put on when I start mixing a track, because I know now that I spent 5 hours making this track, getting to the mixing stage, I'm going to spend probably 2 hours mixing, and I will probably end up doing some other fixes along the way. There's a few little niggles that there's happening, especially the lack of energy into the drop here. I probably will do something with that as well, but at some point I do like to start mixing the track so that I can really hear what it sounds like as a finished track as such. Then once I've made all my final decisions on how I leave the track, I'll then go back through it, turn everything off of the master and see what it sounds like, and then I'll start mixing it properly. But at the moment I just want to get a bit more oomph out of this, so so we've managed to get ourselves to minus 8.9 lufs, which isn't bad. I think most of the tracks that I've released are around minus 7 to minus 5, somewhere around there, depending on the track really. Most of mine are quite bass heavy. This one isn't. This has got a lot of lead and vocal in, which I don't normally do, so it's going to throw me a little bit, I think. But I still think I'm going to be hitting about minus 7 on this one. The other thing I normally do, I like the L2 from Waves as well, but for one reason. You can press shift and click on both of these at the same time and pull them down, so you can see, you can match the level and check your threshold at the same time, so you know you're going to get it absolutely spot on every time. I'm sure you can do that in other plugins, but I found it in Waves first and kept it. I did go over to, as you'll probably notice in some of the other videos, I was using the FabFilter L2. I hate it really. Again, it's too clinical, and this one does have a bit of a vibe about it. It's not as clinical. It's probably a bit noisy, if anything, but I quite like that, so use that. And the other thing I'm going to be dumping on here is, can't find it, this. It's one of my favourite plugins of all time. I have to say, I love this plugin. So before we dive into it, I do need to find utility. So, oh no, my slipper's fallen off. That's right, you heard me right. My slipper fell off. I'm getting old school. So, we want to... Got an itchy eye. Bear with I. Get the puns today. So I'm going to chop this off about 40, and this is probably going to be... Oh. There we go. Roughly 100 to start with. And then we do want to go with a bit of mono maker as well. I normally go for about 60, 50, 60, something like that, before I even press play on it. And I know for a fact the highs are going to need something, and I generally make them a bit wider, so give a bit of a boost on the highs there. Bring this one down a little bit, open it up. Right, let's give that a quick go. There we are. That's not too bad for a first go. I will obviously do a bit more of this. I just wanted to show you this plugin really. So what we're doing, if you haven't seen this before, if you haven't got a clue what the fuck I'm doing, obviously I'm AB in the mono and stereo mix on the mix bus, right on the end after everything, and I've put this plugin in. We need to get a decent cut off on the mono, and on the stereo we're going to cut that off a little bit more on the low end. So normally I head around this sort of area. It can be anywhere between like 60 120 depending on what track you've made really. I never really do much EQ over here because it's already done in other processes. But in this side is my mono mix. So what I want to try and do, when I mono it, it's going to sound completely different. So I need to try and match the sound the best I can with this EQ, so that when you mono it, the only difference you should really notice is the width, rather than any mismatch of dodgy sounds. So if you're playing it on a system that is 100% mono, like a club that for some reason has a completely mono sound system, it will still play really well and it will sound almost as good as the stereo mix. So I'm just finding the frequency ranges that needs a bit of a push, and I think, to be honest, I do need a little bit more here, so I'm going to have another listen and see what I think.
This is all I got. I can tell you everything.
that's not far off now, so I'm not going to do anything more to that. That's not far off. So as I have been in all of these videos, I'm going to leave it as that and have a little break from it. Then I'm going to come back, rest once my ears are rested, and I'm going to go through that exact same process again, make sure everything I'm happy with, volume wise, EQ wise, and then I'm going to come back to the mix bus, turn everything off, have a listen through fully, then one by one bring in each plugin on the mix bus, and by then I should have found more problems, get them fixed, and we should be on for a pretty good mix. But before we do anything, let's just see. Actually, let's do it on. Let's just have one last look at this. Do you know what? I'm actually really quite happy with that mix at the moment as well. That's probably one of the quickest times I've done it. But it's not perfect, and there is some issues there. There's now I've got some high-end frequencies. I need that plugin called Soothe. I really must buy that at some point. Perhaps I will today. But there is some frequencies there that are doing my head in, so I need to get rid of those, and I might buy Soothe to do it. But we've now got a track finished, and it's almost mixed. I'm almost happy with it. Once I've done this, I'm going to bounce out the kick and sub bass stem. I'm going to bounce out the bass stem, and I'll bounce out the rise and falls, and the other stem will be everything else. And then I should put those in, and I will master it from there. If I find any problems from that, then I'll stop and come back to this project, sort out the problems, I bounce them out again, and then go and master it again. But I'm quite happy with that as it stands at the moment. So this song will be released pretty soon, I think. I think from the time you're watching this video, it'll probably be about a week or two away from release. So that's it. I'm going to leave you with the track once again. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've learnt something from this video, and from the others actually. I'll be doing a few more like this, just raw cuts, just me with a microphone put in front of my face and working on a track. So until I do the next one, I'll see you then.